how do you get to be the king? It ain't like that. See, the king, stay the king, all right? Everything stay who he is, except for the pawns. And for pawn, made it all the way down to the other dude's side, you get to be queen. And like I said, the queen ain't no bitch. She got all the moves.
All right, so if I make it to the other end, I win.
If you catch the other dude's king and trap it, then you win.
All right, but if I make it to the end, I'm top dog.
Nah, yo, it ain't like that. Look, the pawns, man, in the game, they get capped quick. They be out the game early.
Unless they some smart-ass pawns.
Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I gotta ask, like, when you look back, I know like most actors don't like to get caught up in the awards and all this stuff, but when you look back and you think about how Boston Legal and Deadwood and these shows were like taking all these honors, and now 20 years later, I don't think there's a 20-year since Boston Legal junket, that how The Wire is so important to, like, more than the culture, just to TV. A lot of people argue it's the best thing in TV. Like, do you feel like the critics feel like they missed the mark from back then, or just times have changed? I don't know. I'll start with you, Joe.
Well, thanks, Jamal. I don't know. It's really hard to talk about how something's perceived and how it's received when you're a part of it. You know, I did have a very, very strong sense when we started work on the show that it was exceptional, you know, that it was something that there'd never been anything like it, and there would probably never be anything like it again. It's just a one in a million, once in a lifetime kind of thing. It's just great storytelling, aspects of the story that are unlike anything else on TV. So I had the feeling like all I could do was run with it, you know, just be grateful and do the best work I could to make the most of it. And yeah, there was some disappointment and surprise that the show didn't catch on more quickly, but also, you know, that's the way it rolls in this business a lot of the time anyway. But now, yeah, that's the accumulated sense of like, you can't hold it back. You know, the people are going to keep discovering this show and keep rewatching the show, and that's as it should be. I think it's that good.
How about you, Lance?
I mean, Jim's heard me talk about this before. At first I was just shocked. And it was just the first season. I'm surprised. And then after the second season, no nominations. And then the second season, we did get nominated for writing, for an Emmy. We lost a house. So I'll just let that sit and we can think, you know. And then so I'm gonna say some stuff that my publicist is gonna get mad about. So I'm gonna try to not be too specific. But then I started really kind of asking myself, well, what's the criterion? You know, and then I started looking at who gets nominated and who doesn't and what that's about. And the fact that we never got a Best Series nomination. And I don't think that it was the critics, because I think the critics mostly loved us from the beginning, but it was more kind of the Hollywood machine in entertainment. Do you know what I mean? Which is its own thing. And so the fact that even as an ensemble or as a series that we never got nominated was just outrageous to me. And the one that hurt me the most was SAG Awards, because that was supposed to be our peers.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of ensemble, I mean, when you look back at how the alumni has done it, I know a lot of actors that were on The Wire was doing stuff for years. I think Clark had been working since maybe like the late 60s or early 70s. But that everybody that got recognized on The Wire, whether you're talking about Michael B. or Michael K. or Idris or Wood, who have become, like, you know, bigger than life from The Wire character, and all these people who like went on to do all these great things, like, do y'all still keep together as a family? Do y'all still communicate as a Wire cast, like at 20 years later after the show is done, or y'all moved on to so many other projects that now it's just these small moments like this that y'all connect?
I think it depends on who you're talking to, because there's kind of a core group that just kind of hung out all the time. And I get the sense that for the most part, they stay in touch. There are definitely people that I stayed in touch with that don't stay, for example, Lawrence Gilliard and Andre Royo, you know, we had something in common because we were married and had kids. Do you know what I mean? And so after the show, I kept in touch with them the most. Wendell, because I think we were just the same age. We haven't kept in touch as much over the past 5 or 6 years as we did before. But I feel like whenever I see people from The Wire, it's like family.
Yeah. Jim, I know, I mean, Prez had it hard because you came in and people thought you was just like, you know, you was exemplary of like some of the bad cops that make mistakes out there on the street, but you proved valuable. And then you played this season as the teacher also, I think season 4. Like, which character portrayal did you most enjoy on the page? Like season 1 or season 4 particularly?
Oh man, I have to say both, but in different ways. You know, like season 4 was so rich and so much work for me, so many scenes, so many different characters to interact with. It was really, really satisfying. So that was just a pleasure. But season 1 really was special, you know, to be someone who, you know, that was a really condensed arc. I mean, in season 4, you see the long arc of that character in his lifetime and the sort of the big change and transformation. But in season 1, you really see him going from, you know, from one episode to the next, from absolute idiocy, you know, making really stupid mistakes, to being like having this kind of thrilled sense of like, you know, I'm learning something new and I'm contributing something to the group, and, you know, something you really wouldn't expect from him. So that was really satisfying as well.
It's my all-time favorite show. And I appreciate your time. And I hope we could do this again at, I don't know, I guess a 25-year, silver year.
All right.
So we'll talk about this some more.
I have my walker.
Y'all keep doing your thing. We'll keep on watching and cheering you on.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
your support.